Hello and welcome to the 6th LiveG Lookahead, rather the 7th LiveG Lookahead rather, on Tuesday the 13th of December 2022 at 5 PM GMT. I hope everyone's all well. Just to mention that this is our last meeting before we take a short break over Christmas, so we'll be back in sometime January 2023. This meeting is being hosted in the LiveG Lookahead channel on our Discord server, and is additionally being streamed into our YouTube channel, where a recording of the meeting will also be available after it has finished. Live subtitles are available by watching the stream via our YouTube channel. Questions and input can be given at any time, and we aim to address all questions and input at the end of the meeting if we don't address them during the discussion. We ask that if you're going to contribute, you must respect the LiveG contributors' community rules, which can be found under the rules channel on Discord, and of course, by suggesting ideas, you agree to make those ideas available under the LiveG open source license. So with that out of the way, I'll just quickly introduce myself. I'm James Livesey, the founder of LiveG and the lead developer. There aren't many other people online today, just like last time, but that's alright.
Hello.
Oh, hello Seb. Good to hear you. I didn't notice you were on.
That's alright, yeah. I'm Seb.
Would you like to quickly
make
introduce
some
yourself?
pull requests sometimes. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose. Yeah. Very good. Okay, so yeah. I mean, again, there's not too many of us online, but yeah, it'd be a nice end to this series, I suppose. So onto our agenda. Firstly, we have an update on making LiveGOS multi-platform. With it coming up to 2 months since we announced our plans to build LiveGOS for the PinePhone and Raspberry Pi devices, we'll be going through the current status of the project, in addition to seeing what's next for the development behind LiveGOS, which we hope to provide a new alpha release for soon. After that, we'll talk about how we can expand our community, with recent ideas being formed for our strategy for interacting on social media and the internet. We'll be discussing other ways to both expand our community outreach and presence, in addition to gaining the necessary resources through accepting donations for what we've been building over the past few years. And then finally today we'll be discussing about how we can expand our product localization. We'll be discussing about how we can further boost our localization efforts for our software, such as LiveGOS, as we further our reach to a more international audience. We've already implemented localization for some other languages, such as French and Chinese, and we'll be thinking about what other languages to localize next. So on to our first item on our agenda then. So with regards to our current status with making LiveGOS a multi-platform OS, so far we've got Raspberry Pi builds working well, which is really good news, and it runs on both Raspberry Pi 4 and the Compute Module 4, which is excellent. It might be possible to run it on the Raspberry Pi 3 as well, for those who don't have the newest hardware, and that's because at Raspberry Pi they like to be backwards compatible, so it might work with Raspberry Pi 3. I mean, I could try, I do have one sitting around. So yeah, could be possible. Don't know at the moment though. The build tool train is still being worked on for the PinePhone, as we try getting an image to run on the PinePhone. There are a few changes that I need to make until we can actually get that working. So far it doesn't boot just yet, but I think I might know the culprit as to why it's not. It's quite hard when the PinePhone doesn't have any kind of way of telling you if it's booting correctly, even though it has a screen and everything. It's a bit annoying how they do it. And after all this kind of booting stuff works, there are still refinements to be made, such as adding a boot screen, of course. Currently LiveGOS just shows a bunch of console messages, as well as an update system which we haven't implemented just yet. So it's going good. Any ideas for like what other platforms we should implement? I mean, I suppose it's kind of we've covered quite a lot of the platforms which people might be interested in. I mean, Raspberry Pi is a big one. So is the Pine phone. I think we're pretty well covered so far. I mean, we don't want to kind of stress ourselves out with maintaining too many platforms just yet. So yeah, I mean, Seb, do you want to add any? Oh, I would talk to Seb, but unfortunately my Discord has decided to kill itself. Classic. But luckily, we're back. Okay, Seb, can you hear me?
Back? Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear
for some reason my Discord decided to close. Anyway, have you got any ideas for kind of what platforms we should potentially implement? I mean,
Well, I think we should focus on Raspberry Pi till we get that stable.
yeah.
But then, I don't know, maybe some like cheap AliExpress alternatives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose that could work quite well. I mean, and I do think that quite a few of the alternatives, I think they'd have some level of support for Raspberry, so.
Oh, yeah.
But if not, we can always build our own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I suppose we probably shouldn't have too many platforms just yet.
Yeah. Get it stable first, and then.
Yeah, but we've got some of the big ones. Which is good.
We're ready.
Yeah. So that's about it on that agenda, really. That agenda item. We'll move on to the next one. So how we can expand our community. So as people may know, we've already got a good number of social platforms to reach out on. I mean, here on YouTube, of course, and also Discord. Twitter, we've always had an account on for quite some time now. And more recently, of course, Mastodon, which is rising at quite a rate at the moment, so that's good to get ourselves onto. When we look at the LiveG website, I think there might be a few that I am missing. We obviously got GitHub. We've got the dev community, so that's mainly for where we post just developer guides and news around our products and stuff, as well as Instagram, although Instagram we don't use too much at the moment. I suppose it'd be nice to put some photos on at some point. And Reddit as well. I always forget about the Reddit, our subreddit that we've got, r/LiveG. So we've already got a good collection of social media presence and accounts, really. So that's good. I mean, I suppose we don't really need to expand, do we? Too much in terms of accounts?
No, if it's working how it is, I think we're getting pretty good publicity already.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Again, we've got the kind of the major platforms in, as well as some minor ones, which I suppose
Mastodon
also work out well. One thing that we should be careful of, though, with our accounts and stuff, is when we're publicising stuff, we should really be careful about kind of the timing of when we should announce like releases and stuff, because we need to make sure that they don't coincide with big events like, I don't know, Google I/O or Apple's WWDC and those kind of things, because they'll just drown out our publicity. That's just, the hype around those events at the moment will probably just, not make our publicity too effective. So, I suppose we need to ensure that we release announcements and things at a time when everything's not too busy, I suppose. One thing which could be good, maybe later on in development, although I suppose, we could always do it quite early on, is we should reach out to Linux content creators on various social platforms who review different devices and operating systems. So I have actually noticed that there are a lot of people who just try out various Linux operating systems and things on Pine phones and Raspberry Pis and stuff, who could potentially be interested in what we have been doing for past year or so. So that could be quite lucrative to kind of gain more publicity and more of a community, I suppose. As long as we do it kind of naturally, I don't think like a sponsorship would work at all. just to get people interested and allow people to do reviews of our stuff, and let them say whatever they want, really.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
sounds
they'll
good.
have full editorial control and that kind of stuff. There could be the possibility of putting up more kind of development-centric content to keep supporters in the loop, I suppose. I know that our social media feeds at the moment are not too busy, aside from like announcements for LiveG Lookahead and stuff. But in the past, especially when I made the early kind of hardware design stuff for the LiveG Prism, that got quite a bit of attention in the Pineframe community. So I feel like adding more kind of development-centric kind of posts, even though for example, our code might not be fully perfect and released yet, but I think people could probably want to follow what we've been doing, I suppose. I don't know. We should probably also make it much easier to donate to us, though, through more of an official page, because we've got Open Collective, of course, which I suppose is kind of a social platform, although it's mainly for accepting kind of donations and stuff. But yeah, I think we should probably have some more official means, like maybe a donation form on our website, which probably could have like a Stripe like checkout embed kind of thing in there, so that people can donate to us through what looks like more of an official means. And I think we can connect that up to Open Collective quite well, so that'd be a good idea. And final one, merch. Now, of course, we do have that LiveG hoodie now, which unfortunately isn't for sale just yet, until we set up like a proper store or anything. But I mean, it's pretty good for quality-wise and stuff. So kind of selling those kind of like merchandise items, like whether it could be like hoodies, stickers, those kind of things. They could be a good way of kind of spreading by word of mouth, as well as like being able to make money from kind of the merch that we make. I mean, what do you think, Seb? I mean, we've kind of run merch stores. Oh, I don't know why, but Discord keeps on crashing. Seb will be back imminently. Hello again, Seb. Discord is slightly broken, it seems.
Yeah, I was watching the YouTube stream though.
Fair.
So I heard the question about the merch. So
yeah, I mean, we've kind of done kind of merch stuff before, haven't we? I know you've done a lot of merch kind of stuff on Redbubble, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. It worked moderately okay. I mean, not many people bought our merch at the time when we ran our own stuff, but
No.
maybe. I mean, there's always something that we can make available, and people could potentially be interested. I don't know. I mean, you've made some money from like Redbubble and stuff before, haven't you? On various.
Yeah, I've made like
items.
£100, maybe.
Oh yeah, not
Which
bad.
is all right. Yeah.
Yeah, good profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So potentially, I mean, it depends on how valuable our brand is at the moment, though, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be good. Yeah. I suppose we should move on to our third and final thing on the day of today, which is expanding our product localization. So as I said earlier, LiveG OS is already available in English and French. The whole OS is localized into those two languages at the moment. So if you are a French speaker, you could practically use the OS just all in French, and it should. I mean, of course, the quality of translations may vary at this point. They may need improvement, but if you're a French speaker, I'd expect that you'd be able to navigate the OS quite well. That being said, we do need the hardware keyboard layouts to be configurable, because I think currently LiveG OS just has the British QWERTY keyboard layout, configured, and you can't change it at the moment. So you may need to make it so that you can change the keyboard layout, which would be quite useful. That being said, there is input support of Chinese, which is currently proof of concept. So Pinyin input, that works quite well, as well as French as well. Although English is the most supported input, and I'm talking about mobile here. So when you've got like suggestions for words which come up, inputting Chinese words works quite well if you have it set via a configuration file. And then we would then later on be able to localize the OS into Chinese once we've got the input stuff sorted quite well. More popular languages should be added, such as German, Spanish, Italian, Japanese, Korean. I mean, I suppose there's other languages, aren't there? I mean, how many languages do you think we should kind of go up to going ahead in the future? Like maybe for our first release, for example.
Maybe 500.
500. Yeah.
No, I think stick with the 2 for now. Maybe 3.
Maybe 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on how many things there are to translate, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm sure people would. Yeah, people should probably be able to chip in and help with like translation efforts if we become popular, I suppose. And that being said, it would be quite useful to have like a tool to help translators translate strings much more easily without having to like edit JSON files and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be useful as well.
Yeah, it'd be quite useful. That way people can contribute to our projects localization wise without necessarily knowing how to code, I suppose. Which I know other projects like, let me have a think now, KDE, I think that has like a similar tool where people can translate strings and stuff for like a program or something. So we'd have something similar to that, which is kind of make it much easier. Yeah, anything to add, I suppose?
No, nothing to add on that. Sounds good.
Cool. Very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it in terms of our agenda then. If you have any questions or input, then you're welcome to leave them in the Lookahead channel on Discord or via the live chat feature of YouTube. That concludes today's episode of LiveG Lookahead. Our next meeting is scheduled on Tuesday the 10th of January 2023 at 5 PM GMT as we take a Christmas break for the end of this year. You can rewatch this meeting via the recording on our YouTube channel. That will be made available shortly, but until then, thank you for attending and Merry Christmas. Bye.